All right, I'm gonna try some new here. So normally you'll see me, you see my buddy, and we'll do a movie talk for about a couple hours. But in order to grow the channel, I've decided to do some weekly comic reviews. So I'm pretty much gonna talk about all the comics that came out last week, and then next week I'll do a video about all the comics that came out this week. And I'm kind of delving into this because I feel like nowadays we have so many movies and shows that are sort of based off of comics while no one's actually picking up the books themselves. So, probably going to delve into that and just kind of grow some attention to the medium and to some of the titles that are out in case any of you think you might be interested. So, first, I'm going to go from like my least favorite to my most favorite. So, worst to best, basically. But starting out at the bottom, we got Batman Superman World's Finest, issue 38. This is part of the We Are Yesterday crossover with Justice League Unlimited. And I feel like the story was kind of weak. Again, even though this is part one of a big crossover, it really is just kind of a side story with Gorilla Grodd. And it's not bad, but you don't really get into the actual crossover till like the last page. And to be honest, that was kind of disappointing because this is more of a prelude than a part one of a crossover. So I was like, yeah, that's not too great. So anyway, that's at the bottom. Next we have Star Wars Legacy of Vader, issue 3. This I like the first couple issues of this series, but this was just kind of a filler deal. I mean, with the first half, you have Kylo Ren stuck in a prison of one of the huts, and he's being tortured, and it's like, okay, yeah, you get it. Then he figures out that, part of what he has to do in order to become great like Vader is that he has to make his own accomplishments, pretty much. And, and I mean, it's fine, but I just feel like you could probably do more with this character. There have just been better Kylo Ren comics. And again, this is written by Charles Soule, and I've seen him do like way better stuff, especially with Darth Vader. So I don't know. But with that said, there was one part I did enjoy, and that was when Kylo Ren gives orders to fire on his location, and one of the officers is going to Hux, and she's like, yeah, I gotta say, I kind of have to raise some objections here because Kylo Ren wants us to fire on his location. And Hux is like, yeah, that's fine with me. It's just, it's just a good character moment with Hux, so I enjoy it. But besides that, it is kind of a meh issue. We'll see if it picks up. And then after that, we have Ultimate Wolverine, issue 4. This was another really good issue for the Ultimate Universe. Again, it's very slow, but I'm kind of enjoying it. It's pretty bloody too. And again, if you're wondering if you should pick this up if you're a fan of the Ultimate books, I would recommend it. I mean, again, it is kind of slow, but the art is pretty great, and you do get a really interesting development near the last few pages with Xavier's brain and the Phoenix. So again, I think it's going places. It does remind me a lot of like the earlier Wolverine books, a lot of the Weapon X stuff. So if you're a fan of that, I think you might dig this. Again, it's not for everyone, but I do enjoy it. Then after that, we got and this is the Mercy of the Father finale. And I can see why some people may not have enjoyed this issue. I kind of dug it. You're kind of getting more into the Batman lore, and you're figuring out some of the backstory of Joe Chill and some of his family, and how, his wife and his daughter were kind of involved in this company where they experimented on kids, and they invented this drug that made people, stay young for, I don't know if it was like forever or just like a really long time, but yeah, it was basically a drug where if you took it, you would be able to stay alive and young for a lot longer. But I really dug the story. Again, it was just I had a lot of fun with it. Again, it's not for everyone, but I really dig just some of the exploration of the backstory behind Joe Chill, his parents, and the relationship that they had with, Chill's wife. And I thought it was a solid finale. Plus, the art is pretty awesome. So, yeah, I dug it. After that, we have Wonder Woman by Tom King, issue number 20. Now, when it came to the other run, or sorry, not the other run, but the previous storyline by Tom King, I was digging it, but I felt like it went on like way too long. Like we had literally the exact same arc for 20 issues, and I was like, "Come on, Tom King, we gotta end this, man." Not a huge fan of it, but this story, at least this first issue, is pretty great. I mean, the art is fantastic. You have like this really cool murder mystery involving Wonder Woman's mother, and you got Batman in here too. Yeah, it's awesome. Just highly recommend it. If you like Tom King, if you like Wonder Woman, shoot, if you like good art, then this is a great book to start on. If you want to get into Wonder Woman, you can just pick up issue 20. You won't be missing anything. You don't have to read the previous arc. Another great jumping on point. So, yeah. Then you got Thundercats 14 by Dynamite. And this whole series has been pretty good. If you're kind of looking for some indie comics or just comics that are, based off of like old cartoons like G.I. Joe, Transformers, which we'll get into in later episodes. But this is just one of them, Thundercats. Again, this is only issue 14, so you can probably catch up pretty quickly. If you go to your local comic shop or you buy them online, you can get caught up pretty fast. But yeah, this is a really solid issue where the Thundercats, minus Lion-O for other reasons, are fighting Mumra. And it's action heavy. It's a lot of fun. It's a pretty good payoff if you've been reading the series thus far. But yeah, Dynamite doesn't get a lot of attention, so I just kind of wanted to point this out, and hopefully people will jump on it. So, yeah. All right, now we are in the top 3. So, at number 3, we got New Gods. And this New Gods series has been fantastic. If you aren't reading New Gods, I highly recommend it. Even if you're not that familiar with the characters, it's just magnificent. I mean, some of the art here is freaking mind-blowing. From the first couple of pages where Light Ray is learning about death and what happens when we die, right, where we go, and all of that leading up to this one act that he takes at the very end of the issue. Right, it's just really good, and even then, you just have some great moments, right, with Darkseid's, bastard son coming back and fighting Highfather, which all leads to Light Ray's sacrifice, and then you have that part where Orion and Mr. Miracle are fighting over the child near the end, and then you have Superman kind of come in and save the child, kind of like a miracle. It's just really freaking awesome. I love it. Just so good. Go ahead and read this. It's amazing. And then number 2, we have the Summer of Superman special. I got the little foil variant because I couldn't find the regular covers, but this story is pretty good. I like how we're kind of setting up for future issues, and I also like that we get the marriage of Lana Lang and Steel in this book, and there's just a lot of good intrigue going on. The art is awesome, and I'm a big Superman guy, so I'm a little biased when it comes to this book, but yeah, I mean, it's it's just a really solid story, and I like the message they have in here, sort of about appreciating the small moments, right? And it just kind of, the theme kind of connects with the actual character of Superman because part of what he likes in life is just those small moments with his friends and family, not when he's Superman. But yeah, with that said, I think it does a solid job of setting us up for what's to come this summer, and I'm pretty hyped. So yeah, this was really good. I enjoyed it. And then my number one favorite for last week that I didn't really expect was Wolverine issue 400. Now, I thought the Wolverine run thus far has been good, but not great. But this issue was really cool. I mean, at first you get that battle with Romulus, who sort of, um, who has that the adamantine attached to him, and it creates like an armor. So Wolverine's fighting him, and for those that don't know, in the comics right now, Wolverine is fighting like a sentient metal that's trying to get rid of adamantium because it sees it as like a false metal, basically. So again, Wolverine fighting a sentient metal, it's a pretty cool idea. But yeah, so you get that, and then later on in the issue, he has to fight Arcade, and at first you think, oh, okay, he fought the Adamantine. Are we just doing a bunch of filler stuff so this can be a double-sized issue? Well, it does lead to some other cool stuff, like, the Wendigo getting cured at the end. That was really cool. And after that, we have like a huge cliffhanger at the very end where we find out that Wolverine's mom is alive and is trying to find him. So, yeah, it was really cool. It was a really solid issue. I loved it. It does kind of progress the story along. I bet in future issues we're gonna find out what happened to Wolverine's mom, why she, didn't keep in touch with him. And again, I just dug it because I was a little afraid that this story arc was gonna be prolonged a little bit longer than it should have. But no, I mean the whole arc wraps up in issue 8, and it's really good. And we actually do progress the story, which I appreciate. So yeah, with that said, those are the comics that I read last week and all my rankings of them. So yeah, let me know if this is something you guys want to see more of, or if there's something that you would like to see from this part of the channel. But yeah, that's it. All right.